Time to melt some glass, my friends. There you are. Here I am to explain, to teach, and create. Good. So much for me being a chorus star, right? Um, it's probably going now. I've got to turn off. Ooh, 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 ooh. Wait a minute. I've got to. Yeah, I got to remember to take off the sound on my YouTube channel. I'm watching it too. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and wherever you're at and what you're doing and whatever time or day it is. We've got two people on tonight. One of them is going to be sort of like the mediator and just checking out and looking and asking questions. She's one of my students, Renee, and the other one
Hello.
today is David Gruber, and he is, or Gruba, excuse me.
Got it.
Um, he is the student of the hour, and we've decided today to make, of all things, a fish. So let's see what we can. Let's see what type of damage we can do. And he's got his torch up and running, and it's time for me to switch angles so you can see me do my thing the way I do my thing. Now, get over here, change. It's fun. I've got two monitors going on with the same thing. One is the actual live feed from on YouTube, and then the other one is the YouTube chat room with the feed going on. So it's kind of confusing, but I'll get there. There we are. Now let's start melting some glass.
So
I
you're
love this
gonna
part.
do a demonstration first, and then I'm
Yes,
gonna
I'm going to
try
do a
it.
demonstration, and then we're going to talk it through together. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
I'm going to use basically clear for the body, and then we also talked about fuming, so we could use silver fume for the actual body itself, and then I'm going to use. I've got like some blue exotic that I'm going to use for the fins, tail, and maybe even let's see. I'm going to do green eyes, green ugly eyes, and so if anybody has anything to say in the chat room, Renee will try to relay it to us. Yes, Renee?
I will do my best. Does
You're
the
going to be
chat
too
room
busy.
work regardless?
Huh?
Does the chat room work regardless of what's on the screen?
The chat room is on YouTube, the YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
I'm there.
Okay,
I
and if
am
you're
in the
that,
YouTube.
yeah, I did say, I see you said hello,
Okay.
1-1. So I can see that. So anything
Yeah.
after that,
I think
please uh, inform me that people want to say something or whatever. Uh,
I can do that.
I am going a mile a minute in my brain. And again, we're still in the infancy of learning how to get this to work for everybody so that they can get something out of these classes. And again, tonight we're going to do a fish. And we might even do a dolphin afterwards, which is even easier. But I think the fish will be a change of pace. Also, if you have available in your repertoire of tools, and I asked David, he doesn't, and I don't have any either, but that's an okay thing, is a diamond cut pattern metal file. What you can use that for is to make the diamond or the scales or the fish scales on the fish itself so that it looks more fish looking.
I wonder if
You
I
can
could use
also
my leatherworking tools.
you can probably use those tools, but just be aware that they might discolor because of the temperature variations going on. First, I make a nice little round ball, and then I flatten it into a disc shape, and then fire polish to get some of the ripples and stuff like that out of it. And if you have a disc flattener or whatever, that you can use that instead of what I just did, like flatten it on the end of the thing there.
I just got some mashers.
That'll work. Mashers will work. I just mine. I haven't cleaned lately, and I didn't want to you know, look, they have metal contaminant sparkles in it, so or black spots. Then what I basically do is attach this, where I'm at right here is going to be the back fin. And just the fold and pull method where you pull it out and you fold it over and you pull it out and you fold it over. And I'll try to do that next to the flame so that you can see it a little better.
Yep, I see it.
And then once you get it out far enough that you think you like it, there's one fin. This is sort of like a goldfish or a koi, like, you know, really frilly back fin going on. Oop, this is getting a little warm, so it's time to extend. And as you know, I like to try to take things right down to the nub. That's just the way I am.
Can't waste any of that glass.
Even when I was cleaning up my shed from all of this stuff that was going on, I swept up the floor and I made a whole pile of rods and odds and ends that I'm going to set aside. And I did the same thing with the bottom fin. Actually, you can choose top or bottom fin. It doesn't matter at this point. Okay. Now, usually I add 2 fins down at the bottom, and these are basically doing the same move where you fold and pull and heat, fold and pull. And you don't have to make it real long. And I do make it so like a fin or shark fin type shape to it. Okay.
Yep.
Then we will do another one on the other side, and the fun part is trying to keep what you've just done outside of the flame, and people have problems with that, but there is always an angle. You just got to find it, and you've got to learn your sweet spot with your glass, with your flame, so that you know where it's melting and where to work it, basically. Okay, that's fin number 2 for the bottom fins, the flippers, I guess you could call them. Now we're going to do one top fin, and that can be a little bit more frilly and swirly, sort of like I did with the back tail. And here we go. Again, this fold and pull is I guess one of my standards. You know what? This is another way to do this fold and pull. Instead of doing the fold and pull, you can just do a nice little blob of color or glass and then come up and press it, which makes a nice, so like a divot type looking thing. And then you come back, heat up that nice little flat disc, and then you can shape it into the direction that you want to shape it. See there?
Yep.
So if you're having problems with the fold and pull, that's another thing that I want to tell you. There's 20,000 ways to skin a cat, and you only need one to do your job. And also make sure that all your welds, all your connections are good ones, not stuck together, but fused together well. It'll make a difference in your piece of glass at the end. Now, with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we're going to pull this end off that I've been holding it by. Matter of fact, switch angles here. I'll pull this forward a little bit. Now the mouth is pretty interesting and pretty fun in that all I do from there is I add a little blob of glass on the end, and then flatten like we did for the turtle shell. Oops, came off my cold weld. There we go. Let me flatten that one more time. Actually, another thing you can do is once you got that disc going on is to give it more of a lip by pinching on the top part and pinching on the bottom part of that disc. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me bring it up a little closer
Yep, I
on
can
the
see
screen.
that. Yep.
And now, last but not least, some jade green eyes. And again, you're not just touching this to the glass, you're fusing this into the piece of glass. Okay? It's very important. But the fun part is getting it to where they are apart across from each other. It's easier to have it nice and clear so that you can see where the other dot was and put the other dot on the other side. But sometimes, so that the eye, what am I trying to say? So one eye isn't up and one eye isn't down type deal.
Yep.
That's going to be the fun part. Now, last thing I do is I go back in just a little bit, and I'm going to stretch the body just slightly. This will help alleviate some of the stress that's made while you're working the piece. And I'm not talking about stretching it out into a very elongated thing. I'm just sort of just gently nudging a little bit further, and there you go. It's not a round disc anymore, and it has an interesting fish shape to it.
Yep. Kind of looks like a teardrop type shape.
And last but not least, with my torch and the way it works, I have to go very, very small flame and almost very bushy flame to get some fuming going on. I've got silver on the end of this piece here. It's just a little dab, but that's all it takes is a little dab will do you. And this might work and it might not. I have yet to completely made the science of making the silver fuming work from, well, it might help if I used a new piece of silver, right?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm going to turn off one of my concentrators. That'll also help.
You want a more of a propane flame for silver, right?
What's that?
You want more of a propane flame for the
Yes,
silver.
for the silver. That's a little bit too propane. There we go. Come on. There we go. I might have to add one more piece of silver to this just to get some fuming going on. It's happening, but it's not happening fast and furious. Give me just a sec. I just happen to have some saw piece. Oh, there we are. Yeah. I have
So do you
several
make
different.
silver filings, or do you use silver leaf, or how do you do that, Lou?
Well, I found a scrap piece of sterling silver, actually. It was a chain, and it was very fine chain links. And I just individualized each link. Okay. Let me see if I
Okay.
can do this. I got a piece of quartz here, quartz rod that I've got this hooked to, or that I'm using. And the idea is to warm up the quartz rod very nicely. Get it a little hotter. And then I'm going to take it, put on a little bit of silver. There, it's sort of stuck. And now it'll sort of melt in. And now we're going to try this fish. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, helps if you got a
I
new.
envy you, Bor.
It helps when you
Uh,
got a new thing of silver. Sometimes. And there you go. I just used again. It was a scrap silver sterling silver necklace that I used to work at the dump and happened to see one laying on the ground and picked it up. Believe it or not.
hey, Lou.
And
Eric asked, "Do you have any tricks for getting the silver to stick to the rod?"
um, again, I'm using quartz, and the trick to getting silver to stick to the rod is the smaller it is, you can heat up the rod sometimes, and then um, let me try to do it to a piece of boro so that some people who work with boro can get the idea of what's going on. Okay, and I'm talking. This is minuscule. You can sort of. I don't know if you can see this or not on my screen. It's a very, very minuscule piece of silver. Okay, I'm going to put it right here. And then what I do is when I'm using it, a boro punte for it, I'll heat up the rod, get it nice and molten. And this might take one or two times to get the silver hot enough, but sometimes if it's thin enough and small enough, the first jab, nope, didn't do it that time. I actually missed it twice, but get it going, you jab it on, and that got the silver stuck to the piece right there. And let's see what we got here. I'm going to put this, I've got another, actually I got a quartz piece that I can fume with some silver just to um, see if that silver will work quite nicely. This is going to be hot. Are you about ready to start one there, Dave?
Yep, I just got my silver onto my rod.
Okay.
Eric said, "Thank you."
Yeah. The smaller it is, the better, the more chance the silver will transfer too, because it has chance to. I don't know if you saw that before it started, but it was a nice white color. And it's still, like I say, I have better luck with this. There we go.
So why does silver give it a gold patina?
I have no freaking clue. I have not. It's like I get in the car, I turn on the key, and I know that the machine will work. Okay? It's like, yeah, it's nice to know all the chemistry of what's going on, but sometimes the mystery of it all is the coolest thing. Sometimes too. Right? That one wasn't working. Let me. Oh, that's the coolest thing about the quartz stuff. You could hear that chime going on. Okay.
My dogs are
So are
going
you gonna try
wild
silver fuming,
outside.
David?
What was that?
Yeah, he's got his
Are you
silver
gonna try
ready.
silver
Yep.
Okay.
cool beats?
Anyway, now Dave, it's your turn. You're up in the bull pit here. Let me switch over and click on yours exclusively. I thought I did. Okay, yeah. Go ahead and start with the one rod. I again, you're going to have to get a set of rollers because, especially as long as you like to keep your rods going.
Yeah, I gotta trim these down a little bit.
Um, the rollers will keep your hands away from the flame, but again, that's one thing that a lot of people have to get used to and really learn to work is that the flame is important, but it's not going to burn you if you know where it's at and you keep your fingers out of the flame itself, because glass is not a good conductor of heat. Great conductor of light, but not a good conductor of heat. And you can get your hands closer to the flame without worrying about burning. See, I can put my fingers this close, and I'm not worried about or scared of my fingers getting burnt.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was using a bigger flame, yes, I probably would come back a little bit on it, but still, the closer you are to the flame, it would be like trying to hold a pencil at the eraser end and trying to draw or write your name or something. The closer you are to the point, the more control you will have over your writing. You understand? The same thing with huh?
Amber said hello.
Hi, Amber. It's nice to see that you're watching, and that's my girl. After last night, I did the live session with nobody but myself and showing the moving. I did clip a better video together. I'm going to probably put it up on YouTube eventually. But I sat and chatted with her. She's learning to play the recorder.
Oh, very nice. How old is she?
She is. Uh-oh. She's turning 11.
Okay, I asked her. Go straight to the horse's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Did she already say it?
No.
She's turning 11, I believe. So we'll get there. Okay. So have you got your round ball and you got your disc? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. You're using clear or you're using color for the... Actually, you could probably get away with doing clear if you wanted to. Don't use color if you don't want to.
I got some color for the fins.
She's turning 9? Oh, that's... Oh. She's turning 10. She's 9. She will be 10 very shortly. That's what I'm getting wrong. Distance in life. Because she's been away from me, I haven't been able to keep up with some of her life. No, I'm 9. I'm turning 10. There you go. She says it. I saw that. Okay, when you get one fin on, I want to see what you've accomplished so far.
All right.
Okay.
Mom. Yeah. Dad didn't like it. It had too much stuff in it.
I'm going to try to keep up with you. And this time I'm going to do it more like I explained, making the flat disc and then making it into the fish fins.
All right.
So that people that can't do that fold and pull yet can still have a viable way of looking at this and saying, hey, I like this.
I think I'm just going to do the ball and shape.
Yeah, that'll work. Like I said.
They can hear us. Yeah.
Yeah, she was playing the recorder in a video chat with me last night. It was great. I used to play the French horn of all instruments to play.
My husband played French horn for a minute. Could you please get your phone and call Kari? She's trying to text me through the video.
Yeah, you can come out with some interesting ribbon shapes when you do it that way also. as you can see what I just came up with here.
Colorado treasure.
You just got to learn to stretch just the disc. You got to learn to heat up the glass where you want to heat it up, not all over sometimes.
Yep.
That's been a real pain in the butt for me.
Yep.
Got some really thick glass in here. It's one of my mixtures that I tried to do.
Where did you try to save it, Amber? Sorry, she's talking about a gardener snake or something. My wife is a animal lover. She would come to the rescue of just about anything she could. And she had the insight. She could see a tank of fish. she can look at a tank of fish and say, "Oh, that one's unhappy." And about an hour later, that one's floating on the top.
That's a hell of a knack.
I often wondered if she had that ability to see humans like that. He's unhappy.
Oh, crap. Oopsies.
Just a joke. I don't, you know.
She said the snake got ran over by a lawnmower.
Uh-oh. That happens. Now, on this fish that I'm doing this time, I'm adding a little bit more fin, splitting it off almost into 2 forks. And you could also do the same basic design or pattern to do like fire or reindeer antlers or something like that. How are your fins coming? Still working on it?
Coming along. Yep.
Okay.
Tried to kind of do what you did.
What?
Tried to do what you just did. Little
What?
difference, but the
You have to
fins
heat them up
there.
and let them flow a little bit more. You've got
Some
you're
little bones.
you've got to heat up just. And another thing that you're having problem with, Dave, and I've noticed, is that you're still thinking two-dimensional. You've got to remember that both sides, and you could see me do it all the time, is flip it over and over before I start stretching or flowing or pulling on something. You've got to heat up the whole piece, not just one side, but both sides. All, you know, it's a three-dimensional object, so you're actually heating up all 4 sides, but still, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm asking her around.
Yeah, she told me about.
Let me look at it again. Let me see what you got. Or did you pull it off and start over?
Just extending it out a little.
Pull it closer to the camera so I can see what you got.
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's looking, I'd have to say gnarly, but it still looks like some interesting, you know, an exotic fish. It's not out of what could be the normal.
Yeah.
That one that's really, really long, that could be the top.
Okay.
The top fin. You understand? The top back fin, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you can add
We have some
the
inquiries on the flame link.
adding the bottom 2 fins is going to be a little bit more interesting, but it is You've got to heat up just one side of the edge and flow it out, and then heat up the other side of the edge and flow it out.
So we've had some interesting conversation about Dave working in a really hot flame for such a small piece of work. Is there just a preference for that, Dave, or do you have a reason for it?
Well, actually, he's got a hotter flame than you got, of course, and you do have to heat up. You have to continually heat up the piece, and the size of piece that he's working on is also a factor.
Yeah, the flame's probably a little too big for this, but
You're both working Boro, right?
Yes.
Yep. Alright, doing that bottom fin now.
Add one select stem on, go out about 1/4 inch and heat and pull that off. And then go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Make sure they're about even. And then you can heat them up and flatten them out later.
He said from what, 2:30 to 5:30, Mark will pick you up. And thank you, goodbye.
Did they say why? What's going on? Okay.
What size concentrator are you working with, Dave?
I've got 2 5 LPM Invicares.
Okay.
So it's 10 right now.
So you got 10. That's good. I'm not complaining. I was just curious at how much. Well, with your torch, that should be plenty.
Recommended, I think, is around 23.
Yeah.
What I remember reading.
But see, that's a lot. That's the misconception, is that it has to be maximum before you start working with it with a torch. But if you're doing smaller things and you don't need all of that power,
Yep.
you can get away with it and still learn and work. Because those tanks are expensive to fill. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep, it's about $60 a piece for a K tank around here.
Wow. That's looking really good. I like it. You have 2 fins at the bottom or just one?
Just one.
Okay. Now what you can do to augment that is sort of, see, I use the 2 fins as it's sort of like a tripod. The back fin and then the front 2 fins are the tripod that the fish sits down on. But if you turn around and add to the end of that one fin on the bottom, sort of like a little nip that comes off one side and a little nip that goes off the other, that would also be a nice way to do a tripod. Okay. So that it will stand by itself. That's the main thing. Or if you wanted to do a loop on the top, it'll hang by it. So that'll work too. Okay. Oops. Looking good though. I like the color variation, the blue that you got, and the disc itself.
Thank you.
And again, what you're looking for, especially since these are your first, is that you're looking for going up to somebody who did not see this video and not know what you were doing and ask them, what is this that you see before you? And if they can come close and say it's a turtle, or in this case, it's a fish, then you're getting your message across. You're getting to where the people are, you're getting in the zone. You're not completely happy with it, but again, you're getting the message across. People are knowing what it is that you're making, which is the main idea. You'll get better. You will get better. Both of you will get better. A, you got to believe that, and B, you just got to keep working at it.
For sure.
Well, it's not a competition, that's for sure. I mean,
No,
people love
no.
pretty ponies.
That's another thing. Everybody works or learns at their own pace. And these things that I'm giving you are challenges. They are not written in stone that you have to do it exactly like I do. It is not uh, to make you feel frustrated. It is to give you something to think about and a direction to go in, and then change that direction if you want to later. Like in the case you did, Dave, where we did the cat, and then you decided, hey, I'm going to do a dinosaur instead, and the
Yeah.
dinosaur came out really great. That's a good thing. I think we lost your picture, Dave.
Oh,
Or
really?
maybe I don't know. No, you're fine. I can see you, but
Okay.
we can't see you. Maybe clicking off and clicking back on you on the screen here.
I don't know about David, but down here in
There we go.
Oklahoma, the
That did
wind
it.
is just howling.
What's that?
Dave, do you have a lot of wind going on, David? Because down here in Oklahoma, it's just howling. We're looking at 30, 40 mile an hour winds.
Not tonight, no.
Yeah, it'll be there tomorrow.
And you put some on the sides too, didn't you? Let's see.
These are just directions for you to challenge yourself, to see if you can, and to make adjustments as you go, to learn, to put the glass together, to learn those alphabet of shapes for yourself so that you'll
Amber said, "Love you, Daddy."
love you too, my dear girl. I'm glad that you're watching. At least we have a few people watching. That's a good thing. We'll get more audience as time goes on. If not, that's fine too. This is about you guys learning to do glass. People watching after the fact is just so that they can learn glass too. Trying the eyes.
I'm putting a little thin at the bottom, and then I'm dotting the eyes on there.
Oh, excuse me. I notice that sometimes I'll do a fish and then I'll look at it and look at it upside down and say, it look better upside down than it does right side up. Life happens sometimes. Okay. And now I'm fuming it. Get it just right. That's the thing about silver fuming with an oxygen concentrator. You got to get the temp just right for it to atomize and start going over. But once you do, it starts showing up nicely.
Yep. A lot of the times when I try and do silver fuming, I end up with this really kind of gross yellow color, or else it just splatters the silver everywhere.
Yeah, you're using too much silver for one, and again, you're just trying to delicately, as you can see, I have the silver on the end of this rod, and it's at the end of the flame, and I'm prancing around the piece that I want the silver fume to go to, bathing it just a little bit beyond that point, and that helps to bring the fuming all together.
I kind of saw when you pulled the fish lips out, but are you guys doing anything to shape the lips of the fish after you've got it drawn out a little bit?
I used my pair of pliers and pinched the
Mm-hmm.
top lip and then pinched the bottom lip, and that was it. Boom.
Oh, okay, okay.
You can watch that on the live or on the video feed later, I guess. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fish number 2. How we coming there, Dave?
Just got the eyes on there. I gotta
Okay,
pony up and then stretch it out.
that will work. Make sure that you do a night. I would almost do it better than a cold weld. I'd make sure it's more of at the tip of one of the fins. Just melt and seal it together so that you got something to hold on to it by.
Yep.
So, Lou, I have a question.
Yes.
On your process, you wait until you have all these welds and all this, finicky, the fins and everything, before you heat the whole thing back up and stretch it out. Is there a reason why you don't go ahead and obligate your initial gather when you squash it flat instead of waiting
It's
till
a
the end?
little stress reliever trick that I learned,
Okay.
where you heat up and you understand the principle of, um, let me, like this. You have a disc, and then you'll heat up this spot, and then you'll heat up this spot, and you'll heat up this spot over here, and then heat up that spot over here. And where does it usually crack? Right where you put that
Right
spot to
joints.
that spot. But if you heat up the whole
Mhm.
thing and then sort of stretch it out slightly, it helps relax and relieve some of that stress so that it's not fighting right there where you put the seals together. And also,
I see.
again, and then it gives you a little bit more time to put it into the blanket. Also, you should be, especially with soft glass, Boro, it's a little bit more forgiving, but the soft glass, you got to remember to always continually bathe what you're doing. You ought to watch
Right.
some of those masters when they're using the furnace work. I mean, they'll work on it for like 30 or 40 seconds and then have the guy throw it back. I mean, these things are huge. And they'll work on it for like 30 or 40 seconds and then throw it back into the glory hole to keep it warm again and then bring it back out and work again and keep doing it all the time so that it doesn't get stressed out. That's the main thing, that's the main idea. Look,
Okay, Amber has 2 messages for you. She said, I love when I get to see you because I get to glass blow with you. And then she let you know that her artwork went on the art wall because her teacher loved it so much.
cool.
That's pretty cool.
What was the picture of, Amber? Let's see what you're doing. Put it up here a little bit closer so I can see. Dave?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Pretty sharp stuff, kid.
Yeah.
Gotta get rid of that right there, and then it'll look a little bit more
I like the
normal.
spikes on that thing. That's looking good. I mean, yours is better than mine. I'm jealous. No.
Oh, come on now.
Amber's art were flowers in a flower pot.
Cool.
Alright, so
Eric Lynn
let's
said,
try
nice on what
this
you did with the
few.
fin.
Yeah, I like it. Make sure now that you welded them on there really well. It looks
Yep,
like some of them might be a little spotty, just
couple of
tacked
them.
together. But go ahead now and warm the whole thing up. I don't know whether if you still want to try to do the silver fuming or not. I think it looks good just the way it is. Why ruin a good thing, if you know what I mean?
Alright, touche.
Amber said flowers in a flower pot, Dad.
Yep, I saw that. I am watching a little bit, but I'm glad that you're bringing it to my attention, Renee. I do, because there are times where I'm sitting there trying to concentrate on Dave, and needs to really he needs that extra oomph in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is also something that you couldn't have done. Well, you might have been able to do it eventually, but you hadn't thought about doing it up to this point. And again, that's what I'm here for, to give you guys challenges, to give you a direction to go in, to give you to open your mind and realize that some people get stuck in a rut and they want to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. But sometimes it's good to get out of that shell and see what other things you can accomplish if just given a chance.
I'll be happy when I can get 4 straight hours behind the torch.
Right.
Looking good if you ask me. Yeah, oh, yeah, the silver
Came on
fuming
there.
came out really nice. Really nice. That almost looks like one of those, what do they call them? Tuna, I want to say is a tuna, not a tuna. What is that? The dolphin type fish?
I thought it looked
I
like
don't
a
know.
beta. Even you
Not
have to talk for
dolphin
your,
as in, the porpoise type, but dolphin as in, there's another one that's, anyway, never mind. It's just my imagination going crazy.
David, you have to speak for your video to come up. So could you
I'll get him.
Oh,
I'm
tell
sorry.
us?
yeah.
No, you're all right.
Actually, you're fine because he's on the main screen at this time.
Not on my phone. Not unless he
Not on
speaks.
yours. Not on yours because but I am the one that can click on it and say this is what who is on the main screen at the time. I'm the master here.
The way my phone works, he says something or he makes a noise, and his video pops up as the big picture on my screen.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's just the way it works.
It's a random thing when you're in the Hangouts group itself, but when it's on the live screen, I'm the one that controls who's actually on there, which is pretty interesting.
Right. I know. Yeah.
Your phone's on Hangouts?
Yeah, my
Alright.
phone's on
Well, I
Hangout.
think that's
My
so
computer's
good for
on
that guy.
YouTube.
Now tap it off and fire polish it off and warm it out a little bit. And
Yeah, you were right about that weld.
which one?
The one where my punty was.
It made it better for it. Believe me. Go ahead and burn it off. Don't snap it off, or fire polish it. One of the three.
Yeah, it broke off. That's what I was getting at.
That's fine. You can, but I'd preferred it break off when you wanted it to than you halfway through it and it snap off and drop it on your table. Do you understand?
What was
Yeah,
that?
I do.
It
What'd
makes
you
a
say?
difference sometimes, and you've seen me do it. And for me, it's like, oh, I can pick it up and take care of it, no problem. But there are some people that would get frustrated because it fell and not want to try to get back to it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Right on. Got it.
I expect to see pictures of this, and I also want you to try a couple more if you can.
Yep.
Actually, I think we're going to run out of time tonight. I don't want to go over too much more than this, but I am excited that my internet is working. I've had technical difficulties in the last couple of times, and I'm just excited that I'll be able to do these live videos out here and get people a-going with their glass, if you know what I mean.
It's always a good time with you, Lou.
Yeah. I admit that I might frustrate you a little bit, but that's what teachers are for. I hope I'm not intimidating. I hope I'm more encouraging. That's what I try to do. It's part
You
of
are
my,
definitely encouraging.
I've seen some teachers that, don't want, they'll teach you something, but they don't want to teach you everything that you could learn. And sometimes I realize, all right, this is another little bit of wisdom. The only thing that stops you from learning anything in glass is you telling yourself, I can't do that. And that is wisdom beyond wisdom. If you tell yourself, I can't do that, then guess what? You're not going to be able to because you've already defeated your mind saying that you can't do that.
Yep.
But you've got to realize, and that's what I'm here for, is to realize that yes, you can do that. You can go a little bit out of your comfort zone and make something that you didn't think was possible 5 minutes ago. A lot of people don't realize that. And I'm here to help people and be inspired, not try to tear them up. Even my dragons are gentle. I mean, if one of my glass dragons was real, they'd come to your rescue fast, and they'd want to beat you up and beat you up and chew you up and spit you out type deal.
Yeah.
They'd even come up and say, "Pardon me, did you just drop your wallet over here? Let me give it to you."
Some British dragons.
Yeah, he'd tap you on the shoulder and you'd be scared to death. Ah! He said, "Did you just drop your wallet here?" But yeah, that's just my attitude towards life, is try to encourage, not to discourage. So with that, I think we're going to call it quits for the evening. I am glad that you were able to join us tonight, Renee. And maybe we can do that tomorrow night, Dave, if you would like to watch and mediate while it's Renee and Lauren's turn tomorrow night. How's that sound?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
Down from the basement.
I'd really appreciate it. What does Eric say? Oh, Eric was the last one to write about the nice fins, which was a while ago. I remember seeing that. That's cool. With that, I'm going to call it quits, if you don't mind. I've got to get ready to go to work tonight. 11 to 8. Yay! Somebody's got to work in the middle of the night, right? But eventually, I think with what's going on here and how I'm going, I won't have to do that type of job too much longer, and I can get to what I'd love to do, which is this. So,
That's my goal.
Amen, right?
That is.
I'll have pictures of my stuff up on the internet really quick, and I expect to see yours. And even Lauren, Renee, you were in here watching. I probably will see you do a fish too, no doubt. And good luck with that. Or if not, I can understand. What?
Every time I get off the camera with you, I just want to go get behind the torch and work.
Can't do that tonight, though.
One of the
Can
things.
Amber call you after?
Huh?
Can Amber call you? Can Amber call you when we're done?
Yes, for a short, and then I got to go to work tonight. But we can talk for a little while, my dear. Anyway, thank you, and as always, enjoy your day.